Hi, gorgeous Scorpios. Mm, mm. It is so good to sit with your big, warm hearts. Yeah, this is going to be great. So, Taurus season for you all. We're here in May 2019. It's a powerhouse. I'm sure you all are aware that Uranus is in your opposite sign of Taurus. All the fixed signs are getting a big ramp up in energy with Uranus in Taurus because, of course, Taurus is the fixed earth sign. And all the fixed signs, it hits very specific parts of our charts when we have fixed energy. So for you guys, this is your opposite sign. So everything gets illuminated with relationship. And there's surprise endings and surprise openings and just surprise beginnings when you have Uranus working in this part of your chart. Now, for you in May, it's a whole bunch of energy in Taurus. We're talking a new moon in Taurus. Clearly the sun is in Taurus. Then Mercury moves into Taurus on the 6th. Venus moves into Taurus on the 15th, which could be really romantic, powerful energy that rolls with you for a few weeks. So we have a lot happening in Taurus, right? So you're getting amplified. So the first and foremost thing I would say is that relationships are going to be a big topic over the next few weeks. The first 2-3 weeks of this month are really going to be highlighting that for you. Page of Swords, clarity. I like that a lot. Communication, conversations are coming up. And I think part of that has to do with how much energy is in a very conversational, communicative part of your chart. You know, 7th house energy, oppositional, relational energy. It's really helpful when we have a highlight of that. Magician. I'm loving this, you guys. These are very communicative, word-based, conversational energies. That's the way that the magic is working with you this month, which I really like to see because I think sometimes 10 of Cups. I'm loving this, you guys. This is such magical energy. And that's the thing with you. There's something really powerful about having your 7th house lit up like this. It's extremely empowering for finding connection, finding layers of warmth within the process. And so this is a really exciting time for you. Ace of Wands. Wow, things are opening up. You may be finding that you are having a lot of these conversations. You're able to kind of see your future when it comes to connecting with other people and within your close relationships in new ways. For those of you who are single or who are in more complicated situations, this may be a time where that all clarifies and you're really on a path toward deep connection. 5 of Cups. Okay, so there's something that has to be left behind in all of this new energy and all of this revving up. There's always got to be a bit of a grieving of what can no longer come with you. New openings do also include closing out and releasing, so there is an element of that. The other thing with having all this 7th house energy with you is that, what's coming out? 9 of Cups. Wow. There's quite the little cups journey going on for you Scorps this month, because look at that. 5 of Cups, 9 of Cups. There's a big invitational going on with you and your energy when it comes to emotion and relation, right? But the other side of having all that energy in Taurus, I always call the oppositional season that we have mirror season. It really also gives us an opportunity to see us almost from a third party perspective, right? Like we can kind of step out of ourselves and see where we have patterning or where we have connections that are working or not working. We're able to kind of see ourselves with fresh eyes, and it's a really useful time. And I find this to be, when we are in our opposite energy like this, it's a really useful and powerful and brilliant and magical time. So I'm excited for you guys on that front. And you have a full moon in your sign as well this month. So this is your full moon for the year. It's on the 18th. It's going to be highlighting where you want to go next with who you are. You know, how you want to put your energy forward out there in the world. 10 of Swords. Okay, that's a very Scorpio card, wouldn't you say? You guys are having some kind of personal death in all the newness. And I'm not surprised. Once again, when we get the opportunities we want, when we get the relationships we want, when we get the new doors opening that we want, when we start to do the things that we said we've been wanting and we've been waiting for, and it's finally starting to happen, there's a funny thing that happens on top of that, which is that we realize, oh, this is actually happening. And I actually have to go and leave behind who I've been. I have to go ahead and leave behind that person, that version of myself, or that lifestyle, or that location, or even those those people that aren't going to be able to come along. And it happens that way often, that we actually get our doors open, and that's when we do some of the grieving. And I think that's all that's going on here. Now, of course, the other side of this is, and it all kind of clicks together when you think about these kind of grieving release cards that showed up with the Five of Cups and the Ten of Swords. The other thing that comes up for me with this is Gemini season for you is your 8th house. It's the death, resurrection. You guys rule the 8th house. So this is home territory for you when you hit into your 8th house Gemini energy. And the energy will start moving into that 8th house quite a bit. So you get kind of this power play of deep connection in your 7th house, deep connection in your relationships, and then some death and transformation to prepare you to really step fully into that. And that's kind of the themes of this month, and there's a lot of high intensity power to this month. I know you guys can roll with that, but there's like this sweet, beautiful flowering opening. Strength, the Leo card. I love it. I love it. Another fixed sign, right? It's your neighboring fixed sign of Leo. I'm a Leo, and my connection with you guys is really strong. So I'm excited. I'm like, oh, I'm showing up in your reading. This is fun. So let's talk through these cards because there's so much going on. And the energy really is so personal for you guys this month. Of some of the signs, you have some of the most directly connected energy to you. Like the transits are a lot more personal to you and who you are and how you're moving through the world and how you're connecting to the world as an individual and as somebody who relates. So let's start with these two power players right here, the Page of Swords and the Magician. Such powerful, playful, cosmic energies. They're both really tied to that mercurial sense of communication and the spoken word, right? And that kind of spell casting that is created from the thoughts we create and the words that we speak. And the ability to manifest what we want and to get the conclusions and the outcomes and the clarity that we want via speaking, via saying what we want, saying what we need, saying what we mean, right? These are high-paced energies as well. They want to get things moving. There's no such thing as stagnation when you have Page of Swords and Magician energy. So if you've been feeling a little bit like the first part of this year has been a little bit resistant, like the movement hasn't quite been there, there's been a little bit of slowing down or gunking up in the gears, these energies are telling me that there's a very different flavor to May. And that part of that flavor has to do with this sense of movement through time and space, movement through the world as you know it. So there is something really strong about you being able to manifest what you want, especially if you're very clear with your words, with your intent. So this is a great month to be very clear about what you want to say and what you need to say, because if you are clear on that, the results will be immediate. If you resist it or you hide it or you shove it down, you won't really see much movement, you won't really see much change. But I think this energy is very supportive of you being communicative and manifesting what you want and having the conversations you want to have. I mean, look at these next two cards, you guys. This is the beginning of some kind of beautiful, the culmination and the beginning of some kind of beautiful long storyline. And what's really interesting, so 10 of Cups is kind of the icing on the cake. It's like you've built your way to this kind of happy connection, right? It's something that has been developed over a long period of time of self-trust and deep emotional, intuitive knowing. And connection. Obviously, this can really represent a happy relationship, a deeply committed, connected, emotionally satisfying relationship that's taken time to build, though. You know, it's not something that just arrives and it's like the first week of love. It's like the kind of love that's developed over time through trials and through learning about the self and learning how to love the self and therefore learning how to love others. But it's paired here with the Ace of Wands, which is so much about like the freshness, the newness, the opening up of something that's fiery and passionate. So you kind of have, it's like there's a culminating energy and an opening energy all at the same time. And it's all supportive of you. It's all saying like, yes, it's time for you to have this deep level of connection, this deep level of passion, but it's something that's based on your emotional learning over the last several years probably. It's not something that's coming out of left field, like, oh, surprise. This is something that you have been thinking about and connecting with and asking questions about within yourself for a long time. This is something that you have been considering and thinking through for a very long time. And it is culminating here. It's opening here. That chapter that you've been kind of envisioning and connecting in with is opening here, right? And there is this intensity, there is this desire, there is this sense of connectedness that goes on here with this energy, right? And there is this freshness and this vibrancy and this calling to show up and be in the spotlight with whatever this energy is. I mean, all of this is such dynamic energy. It's beautiful. I'm really excited for you guys to experience that. Now, like I said, the second half of the month starts to get a little bit more complex because we hit your full moon, which is, like I said, it's very personal. You're kind of seeing your legacy. You're seeing where you're going to be building next very clearly. And you also have, moving into Gemini season, that 8th house transformation house, with all this opening up and all this movement, all the opportunities coming, you're having to address some old parts of self that you're ready to release. I mean, it's like within the context of all this other emotional support, though. It's kind of like every other card. So yes, you are grieving something that's been lost, right? The 5 of Cups is a grief card. It's kind of that sense of like, okay, like we can never go back to what that was. We can never go back to who we've been in the past. We can never fully be, who we were when we were 10 years old, even if we feel some of the playfulness and the magic of it. We can never be who we were 2 years ago or 6 months ago, right? But that's okay. There's just a pause here. And a lot of times the way that I see the 5 of Cups is that it's that beautiful ceremonial pause between stepping fully into your new identity and saying goodbye to your old identity. It's kind of like in a dramatic movie or something where, characters know they can no longer be together or something, and they have their last look and wave and that acknowledgement. And I'm not saying that there's going to be breakups or there's going to be heartache, but there's an acknowledgement of who you've been and what hasn't served you that you are taking a moment to stand and do. And I think culturally it's very important that we bring back some reverence for this. It's not about moping for all eternity. It's not about being sad for all of May. It's nothing like that. But it's like sometimes you just have those days where it's a time to take that acknowledgement and you just stand still for a moment between the two worlds. And there is something going on here with that happening for you between stepping fully into your new self and releasing. Now, as you step into your full self, I mean, look what you're getting. If you're willing to grieve and release whatever those spilled cups were, and you take a moment to do so and honor it and say, thank you for what you've given me, and you are open to this, you get that emotional stability. You get that emotional well-being, that support, that connectedness. You have a lot of this very spiritually, emotionally, intuitive, guided love energy here. Things aren't meant to be hard. Things are meant to be easy and soft and warm and loving to you. And it's a reminder of that, I think, too. While there is grief and there is loss and there is change, there's also this understanding that you are meant to be held and loved and seen and cared for in a really precious way. Now, for you guys to be seen and cared for at that depth and that level can actually feel more vulnerable than just kind of plodding along and doing your stuff. And I think there's something about the being held and the opening up and this sense of positive, creative forward motion that is causing some old version of self to really have like a little bit of a minor backlash and then a closing out. I know the 10 of Swords always looks really intimidating and kind of terrifying because it's so brutal, it's 10 swords in this guy's back. But the thing is that he represents who we've been. He represents what we've been like fighting and battling through in our minds, in our narratives, in our personal story that we are ready to let go of. So when the 10 of Swords shows up, it's like a sweet surrender to the release. There's total surrender. There's no more resisting. There's no more putting up a fight. There's no more pushing against things. It's complete. It's finished. And for you, it's just so fascinating the way that the 9 of Cups can turn into the 10 of Swords, right? Because this type of safety allows for you to do this type of work. It allows for you to explore this part of yourself without getting lost in it. So often what happens is we need this type of emotional support and connectedness and knowing that we have our people with us or our person with us or our community with us or whatever it is that you need to feel emotionally stable. That gives us that anchor point so that we can tap into these parts of ourselves that normally could take us down and underground for a very long time, and we can just ceremonially release them. And that is sometimes why these energies show up when we're actually doing quite well, because we need to be in a context that lets us know it's okay and it's safe to explore these parts of ourselves. Even though you guys are Scorpios, you know you don't always want to be pulled all the way into that undertow. And I mean, who does, right? It's not easy, and it's not always necessary. In your case, I don't think it's necessary. Now, you do have the Strength card as your final card in our conversation today. And yes, this is the Leo card, and I know the Scorpio-Leo connection can be quite strong. We have a deep karmic energy often, but you know, there's a bigger thing going on here than just a specific sign. I never like to get that basic with any of this stuff, because the Strength card is also, it's a card of divine connectedness. She has her infinity symbol here, so she is one of the, and you actually, so does the Magician. There's only a handful of cards that have these infinity symbols. The Magician and Strength are two of them. And Strength is, you know, the concept with it is how things come into your life, how blessings come into your life. Strength is, like you with the fixed sign energy, is something about endurance and slow building. It's not about unleashing the lion and the beast on everything and having it all work quickly, immediately, let's go. Strength is about building slowly and steadily and with kindness and care. It's about, rather than manhandling the lion and telling it to shut up or sicking it on other people, it's about nurturing and caring for this. You know, there's a complex journey that goes on emotionally when we get close to our own inner wildness, and also when we get close to other people. You know, relationships aren't built on simplicity. They're not built on just like, oh, you just make me happy. It's like the deepest relationships have so much nuance. You know, there are days when you feel irritable with each other. There are days when one of you is just falling down and can't even show up fully. There are days when both of you feel amazing. There are days when both of you feel really distanced from each other. And it's the nurturing and the taking the time to show up and nurture throughout time and space that creates such profound connections. And we're not just talking about romantic connections. We're talking about friendships, community, our relationship with ourselves, which is very nuanced. And anything that you're wanting to build this month has to have this kind of quality of energy. I'm getting full body chills as I say this. Wow. This quality of knowing that you are nurturing something into existence. You are nurturing yourself into existence. You are nurturing your relationships into existence, and you are nurturing your path into existence. And that it's okay to take the savoring time and just dig into the bones of it. There's a gentleness here. It's meant to be gentle. And I think that's the note that's coming out of these kind of heavier cards, like 5 of Cups and 10 of Swords. Yes, they are heavy, right? But I'm getting full body shivers. Like, it's just not stopping right now. But the thing with that is that the message that comes out is it's like, it's fine. It's not meant to be catastrophic. None of this is. In fact, this is a time for you to feel more deeply connected than ever, more seen than ever, safer than ever, safe enough to do some digging. And isn't that what the most beautiful points in life are about? When you can feel safe enough to do a little bit of digging and feel safe enough not to even dig, not to even analyze, to just feel and release. I think that's so important for you guys to have in life, and I don't know that you always get it. But I hope that every one of you out there does receive that kind of support and love from within and also around you. I'm sending you guys so much love. I'm also really excited. I created a special series called the Magical Mid-Year Intuitive Guide, and I will leave the link. It's on Vimeo, ready for you to download. We cover this Uranus and Taurus transit and what it's doing for your specific sign. We cover Chiron and Aries and what that's doing over the next several years. I'm also going to be covering some of these outer planet retrogrades that will be happening into September and October, including Pluto, your ruling planet, going retrograde. So it's all really designed to help you as Scorpios navigate this energy for the next few months feel into it and feel empowered. We talk about strategies. I give you affirmations. I give you kind of a cohesive whole so that you can tap into your own power for the middle 4 months of this year. So I highly recommend you go check out the Magical Midyear on my Vimeo. The link, like I said, is down below. You can also find me on Instagram at Sarah Verba. I would love to see you there. That is probably the best place for you to see if I have any last minute appointment openings, because right now my calendar is scheduled so far in advance that it's hard for me to know exactly what September, October is going to be like. So I've kind of limited my calendar over there, but I'm going to be, as the weeks go on, I'll know what each week is going to look like so I can add in some last minute appointments. So that's a great place to keep on top of that. You can also find me on my website at SARAHTAROT.com or email me. Once again, everything will be in the description box. So if you're looking to get in touch with me or ask me a question, that is where I would go. You can also find PinkLune's gorgeous jewelry. I will leave her Etsy shop below. She's giving you that 15% off, and she is just magical with the things she makes. So go check her out. I'm sending you guys so much love. Thank you for spending some time with me today, and I will see you. There's going to be a really fun moon magic for that Scorpio full moon, so check in a couple of weeks and we will talk about it. Bye.